smokers daily. Come and get your daily fix. Words that's inspiring, creating more that's gifted. The energy has shifted. I'm changing the momentum. My people gon' feel me. Smokers daily. Come and get your daily fix. Words that's inspiring, creating more that's gifted. The energy has shifted. I'm changing the momentum. My people gon' feel me.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your host, A1 Reek, and this is the 4th episode of the Smokers Daily Podcast. And what we're going to talk about today is ego killers. But we're going to go ahead and interview my boy Eric, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into this conversation. So just to start off, what exactly is ego? And then what does an ego death look like? Well, I mean, if you want to be honest, it's a complete loss of your identity. Whatever you thought you were, it's no longer that. So, Eric, come on, let's give your opinion on, what you think about the ego.
I feel like,
or how has it impacted you with your life?
Yeah, I mean, for me at least, it just pretty much changes the outlook of how you look at yourself when you go through certain experience of ego death, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it just pretty much shapes you into a better you know what I'm saying? More like a yin-yang type of thing.
Okay.
So it's going to be something that we have to embrace down the road, you know what I'm saying? Just on the strength of character development, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I mean, just speaking on that a little bit, has there ever been a time where your ego has affected your personal growth and development? Or someone that you know?
Yeah, it definitely did, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you are like amongst certain people and everything, I feel like people have specific masks that they put on. I don't know, but it's cool. I'm here for the free smell. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I feel like certain people have like certain masks when they are amongst other people. You know what I'm saying? And with that, it's like. It tends to be a little bit confusing, but at the same time, if you know how to control the environment or yourself amongst the environment, you know what I'm saying, then you should be good. Like different bubbles, some people have different bubbles that they talk to, like certain group of people. Other people, they just bring it all out into one. And then for some people, it could be overwhelming. Other people, it could be just right, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like in ways, it can affect certain things with other people, even with yourself, depending on what you got going on.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you on that. When you talked about like what you have going on, I kind of look at that as like a spiritual representation.
Mm-hmm.
What you have going on. I mean, everyday life stuff. I mean, it is what it is. But I feel like when you talk about ego, and then you kind of like coincide that with spirituality, I feel like then that's when you start to get a little bit deeper. So I mean, just to even get a little bit into that, how do you feel like your ego has affected you spiritually? Like has it been a benefit to you, or do you feel like it's hindered you in ways? And then give a scenario.
As of right now, I feel like it benefited.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I say that, like, it was moments where I've been lost, you know what I'm saying? It was moments where I didn't know certain things or how to talk or even be amongst certain people, you know what I'm saying? We all go through a phase like that, you know what I'm saying? I know when my pops, he passed down the barbershop to me and everything, me personally, I didn't even know what I was doing at first. All he told me was, look, this is what you pay, and that's it. I seen like, even when I was younger, I seen like how certain things was going on amongst the barbershop and everything. Mm-hmm. But like, as far as like conducting a business and everything else, that was like something brand new. My mind was still fresh, I just got out of, at that time, I just had got out from prison and everything.
Okay.
And that, jumping into something real quick, you know what I'm saying, that made me like, it prepared me, but at the same time, everything was still fresh. So with that, my ego kind of got somewhat of a boost, and he got killed at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Question. Now, when you mentioned coming from being incarcerated and then stepping into this new scene of new responsibility, do you think your ego was a driving force in that situation to make you even feel like you were, enough to be in that position? Because, sometimes people can feel like they're not enough to, really withstand a position.
Yeah.
So do you feel like your ego was a big component for you there to do that transition from not really having as much responsibility to now you got to run the whole shop?
Well, it was like I was just coming into it like neutral minded. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I already experienced the barbershop environment, but being that we were dealing with the business part of things, you know what I'm saying? That was like a brand new type of thing. I didn't know what exactly to expect. The only thing that I was listening to was like the barbers, like how to do specific things here and there.
Yeah.
And even with them showing me how to cut hair too, while I was running, it was like the best thing, So it was just one of those things that I just went into with like on some neutral level type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really like was too, what's the word I'm looking for? I wasn't too cocky with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good thing.
I just went up in there, assertive minded. You know what I'm saying? A little passive because I'm amongst family, people that have been working with my pops for X amount of years.
Yeah.
So I was just assertive with the whole situation.
Okay. And just with that right there, you just kind of talked about how, you went in with a neutral mind. How do you feel people use their ego in terms of like wearing a mask? Do you feel like in that situation you had to wear a mask since you were around people that, kind of watched you grow up, you were in that environment? Do you feel like if there was ever a time when you had to wear a mask or take a mask off?
To be quite honest, I believe I had maybe a few moments where it was like that, jumping into like starting to cut hair and everything, thinking that I already knew what was going on, but it was like, no, you gotta do this, no, you gotta do that. It was so many things that I was screwing up at first, but then when I started to get the hang of things and started to get more comfortable with what I've learned, then it was like everything started to ease up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like a moment where I was like, after a year of cutting my own hair and everything, there was like a moment where like I had my own station and all that, and I was just cutting. And then there was like some of the barbers were looking at me as if like I was kind of messing up.
How did you take that though?
Like at first it was almost like just brushing it off, like I ain't trying to listen to what y'all talking about.
Ego?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. But then like when other people started to jump in and add their opinion, even some of them like there was one person that walked up like, hold on, you do it like this. He grabbed the clippers and everything and started doing it. And I'm watching him, and at the same time I'm kind of looking around and I see the other barbers. They was like kind of side-eyeing at that point. So from that moment I kind of felt a little defeated because I thought I knew it, you know what I'm saying? But then it was like, all right, I made my mind up. I'm not cutting here. I would be cut from the crib from this point on. So that's how I kind of took it at that point. So in a sense, that's the death, the ego death.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, I felt defeated at that time, but back at home, reflecting on everything, it was like, okay, I got to do this better. I got to watch this. I got to, instead of using the razor this way, I'm gonna use it this way. Instead of doing the fade this way, I'm gonna do it that way. So I just little by little touched up things in my own space and then developed a new style of cutting hair and rebuilt my confidence just to take my my barber skills to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
And I honestly think that's very impressive because, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to take that criticism and then go into a space of solitude to work on themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like what they either do is they feed into advice that kind of takes over the situation and they shy away from what they're doing. And I feel like that happens a lot, especially in, I want to say like I mean, we got to look at the realistic situation. You know, how do black people typically engage in one another? You know, when someone sees someone walking on the street, like, you know, me and you, we didn't know each other. How do people typically see that? You know, it might be a mean mug, or, you know, it's that ego. It's that way about yourself where it's like, yeah, I'm top dog. Like, it's never one of them, what's up, brother?
Yeah.
You know, it's not always like that. In some cases it is. You know, some people try to keep it that way, but, you know, in a lot of cases, especially with the young generation, it's all this, you know, ego.
Yeah.
It's, oh, I'm this, you know? And you got to be so, you always have to be so firm in who you are. And I feel like you can just be present. You know, in a lot of cases, we're just present. I feel like that changes the dynamics of how we actually engage in it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where them ego deaths come in, where, you know, you come to realize these things, and it's like, yeah, I think we've been going about it the wrong way the whole time.
Yeah. A lot of times it's like, I had a moment when I was in prison, like I was going to the child home, and there was a guy, he was walking with sunglasses. I'm new to the yard and everything, so as I'm walking to the shower hall and everything, the sun beaming, it's all in my face, and I was kind of like squinting a little bit.
Yeah.
And the homie, he walking past, he was like, "What you staring at? What you staring at, homie?" This, that, and the third.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh shoot, like what's gonna happen? And he just walked up to me and he told me, "Look, whenever you on the yard like that, you swing and stuff like that, some people will take offense to that. You know what I'm saying? So here, he took off his glasses, gave it to me. I just put them on, and then I just took it as a lesson. A lot of people, they feel like other people may be challenging them, you know what I'm saying, and everything, but you can't really take that into perspective. Some people don't even know how to really, you know what I'm saying, juggle that. You know what I mean? Because they never really experienced it or talked to other people about it to handle it a specific way. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even mean no harm. Other people, they want to show out to the next person to be the one. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Being yourself is all you need. You already golden that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just being yourself. But some people, they don't recognize themselves to be that way because they're so blinded to other things. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And I also have my own experience with incarceration where I feel like I have my own personal ego death. Because before I was incarcerated, you know, I was very materialistic and I had that big ego.
Yeah.
Where I let those materialistic possessions speak for me. And then, you know, you loud about it. You know, all young pulling up, you know what I'm saying? They pulling up fresh, pulling up nice. You know, you got this way about yourself where people know you to be this. That's how they visualize you. But it's like going and being incarcerated, what it brought me to the understanding is this shouldn't be here today and going tomorrow. So you can't stand alone off of that.
Right.
And that's where we build these egos up because we allow these materialistic trinkets to govern who we are. And then we're loud, we're boisterous.
Right.
You know, you got these diamonds on, you know, you got this, you got that. It's like this is who you are. But then once you're stripped of that, who are you? And that's when I had my ego death. Because once I was stripped of everything, at what point, what was I talking about?
Right.
What are you talking about? Now it's about what do you know? What are you able to do? Because now that you've fallen this far, you in an ego death. Like, are you gonna crash out? You know what I'm saying? Give up? You know what I'm saying? Or are you gonna keep striving to be better? So I feel like, you know, once you get into that point, you know, I feel like going through those different ego deaths, they are very good for us. But I feel like what's important is being able to identify them. I feel like a lot of people don't get it. Like they go into this deep depression and, you know, everything's everywhere. And it's like, you know, they're trying to get a better understanding of what's going on, but, you know, they don't know where to go.
Right.
You know, so I feel like, you know, having conversations like this, you know, definitely important just because now we breaking down barriers. You know, people don't want to talk about this stuff because they feel like this is who I am. No, you know, ego, we can't hide behind these masks, you know, and portray ourselves to be this and that. But it's like, who are you when you're alone? When no one's in the room and you're by yourself, who are you? And that's just for anybody that, you know, has already watched episode 1, that's what the episode 1 was about, is who are you? Understanding who you are, digging into the depths of who you are so that when you understand what you want to project out to other people, you know, that's that respect. Respect for self, then I can respect you. You know, they always talk about the golden rules and whatnot.
Right,
We gotta take it to a deeper level and looking at it within ourselves so that we can give it to somebody else. With energy. You know, when we having a conversation, you know, we exchanging energy. You know? And through that we're learning and we're growing. And then slowly little by little, you know, breaking down that ego. I'm glad that, you know, you were able to, you know, even just share insight on that, you know, that whole experience, especially like with being, you know, incarcerated, because I feel like in some cases that's a soft spot for people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like for example, my PO told me, you know, when I had the idea of doing things outside of the norm, saying, oh, you know, I want to experience being an entrepreneur, I was like 23.
Right.
She was like, you know, you're not going to be able to do that when you have a record. So, you know, this is the way you're going to have to do things. So it's that program. You know, if I was in my ego, I probably would have responded in a rude way, but I chose to not say anything and then just prove to myself that I can be something.
Right.
You know, so I had to do it still up there. Even how I respond to people when I hear me and stuff. But in most cases, you know, people that turn up. Right. That's our normal response, you know, turn up. I feel like so many ego that's put you in a perspective of, you know, let's calm down and be present. You gotta see beyond what's here. You know, this is surface level experience. Now we gotta go take a little depth. You know?
Yes, sir.
Definitely. Now, just even like growing up, like let's go back to childhood experiences because, you know, it's good to be able to identify where you might have experienced ego death in your childhood because I feel like it's easy to, you know, realize once you become an adult. But, you know, what kind of stuff did you see like growing up? People being their ego, like what you see in the neighborhood play out?
Well, you know, some people that I was growing up with and everything, they have been around, you know, certain people, different gangs and everything, and you know, they always had a moment to prove themselves that they were the biggest and the baddest. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They get into fights or and they get beat up or whatever they have to do. You got people that get jumped, and one thing leads to another. You know what I'm saying? To the point where gunplay becomes a factor.
Yep.
But it's a lot of times it's stuff like that, or people getting played. You know, trying to holler at some different flavors. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But you know, it's many things that I had to experience, even being amongst friends and stuff like that, from bullying to, you know what I'm saying, even people talking crazy whenever you playing different sports or games or whatever. It's like some stuff like that really it what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of tweaks your ego a little bit. And get to a point where either you're gonna do absolutely whatever to prove yourself that, oh, I'm not whack when it comes to 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? And then once you fall short, then it's like, all right, now you're just playing right now. So that's like an ego death in a sense, or it could be boosted if you just do your thing, and then luckily something just plays out the way it did. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, oh, he won the game. He did this. He got short number. He beat dog up. You know what I'm saying? Boom. And it's just like it's next level. You know what I'm saying? Even then, like when things get more serious, gunplay comes into factor. You know what I'm saying? Different situations with drugs and everything else. You know what I'm saying? You could be known as the toughest cat on the block or whatever.
Sure.
And the scariest, you know what I'm saying? And the scariest guy could take you out. Now, all that baggage that the toughest nigga on the block or whatever they had, now it's upon the scariest.
You got the juice.
You know what I'm saying? You got the juice. Now you got to worry about people, oh, I'm about to rob, dog. I'm about to do 1, 2, 3, dog. All the honeys coming through or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So everything just comes that way. And that plays with people psychologically. You know what I'm saying? And they end up becoming something that they not. You know what I'm saying? And that's what really changed the trajectory of who you are. It's like mask on top of mask. It's just nothing but layers. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that because that whole concept of jumping off the porch, I don't think people really understand it. You what you're doing is submerging yourself in some gunk.
Yeah.
Because now, once you put that first little bit on, like you said, you gotta keep going with that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there is no
exactly.
turning around, because once you're in a certain situation and you live in a city where everybody know everybody, anything can happen at any moment.
Right.
Like, you can bump into somebody at any time, then what?
Then
It's like, you know what I'm saying? You gonna stand on business, or you gonna just go about your day? Because I mean, in a lot of cases, people do be out here wearing these masks, trying to, show ego, big dog shit in front of certain people. But then when you're by yourself, you're like not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're quiet. You're like a priest. How did you become big dog? When you're around these people, you have your chest out and shit. Then it's like when you're by yourself, you're priest.
You know what I'm saying? Some people, they haven't really took a look at themselves. They don't really understand who they are.
Yeah.
They only imitate the things that they see on TV, what they hear on music.
Big time.
You know what I'm saying? Even if they read a book or something, it's the same thing too. But a lot of times, like with those type of people that don't really know who they are and everything like that, that just comes to show that they still need some sort of development to really find who they are and tap in with themselves to be a better version of themselves.
All right, and I do want to interject. Sorry, but you just said something very interesting. You talked about some form of like self-reflection. Now, are there like any steps that you yourself that you've used that have kind of worked for you to identify your ego and when you're being in your ego in a situation?
So I had before I did with that, I had an episode. It was one day I went to a comedy show. Prior to going to the comedy show, I had linked up with one of my homeboys because he was selling the tickets or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I pulled up where he was at, and I get in his car, we chopping it up, and I asked for the ticket. He's like, "Are you sure you want to go to this show and this, that, and the third?" So in my mind, I'm like, I wonder what he said that for. But I just brushed it off like it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? It's a comedy show. So what's the worst that could happen? You know what I'm saying? So the day come with the comedy show, I'm with a few of my homeboys. We were gonna go to the bar, and from that point, people changed their mind about it, and I just threw it out there. Hey, let's go to this comedy show at the Orchard Room. So slides to the comedy show, and once I get up in there with my people and everything, we just chilling, and one of my homeboys, he sparked the L up. You know what I'm saying? So from that point, I'm like, all right, baby, pass me the blunt. Mind you, I ain't smoked for like 5 months at that time. You know what I'm saying? So everything just started to hit me like a brick wall. I'm feeling loopy, giggly, all that. I seen some people chopping it up with them. You know what I'm saying? We took a few flicks and stuff like that. And then, like, me checking out the pictures and everything else, my homeboy under his breath, he was like, "Hey, come on, bro, like, chill out." So in my mind, I'm thinking like, what he talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then a little later, the show start. People come out on stage, they doing their thing, and then it's almost like the person on stage was like the spotlight. So you got the looking at the crowd, and I guess when he seen me or something like that, he started to roast and all that stuff, so cracking up and all type of stuff. The next performer come out, and he kind of started saying little things here and there. And at that time, I'm thinking they just joking, but then like certain things was said that kind of was like personal. And in my mind, I'm like, hold on, wait. You get to looking around, and people were laughing and stuff like that. So from that point, it was like paranoia kicked in heavy.
Yeah.
So from that point, I looked at my homeboy, and I told him, look, I'm finna go. He told me, where you going? He like this, that, and the third. I'm like, I'm out. So I get to leaving. As soon as I'm leaving, I see my homeboy that sold me the ticket. Yo, it's good. You good? I'm like, nah, I ain't good. You know what I'm saying? Like, too much going on. You know what I'm saying? So I end up leaving, jump in my car, People asking like, yo, what's good? You like, everything straight? I ain't say nothing to them. I just jumped in the whip and I left. And once I get to the crib or whatever, like, I sat in the car for like maybe a good 2 hours, just thinking about everything that popped off. You know what I'm saying? Things that was being said, and it messed with me. Like, it got to the point where I didn't really sleep good. I didn't eat no food, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the next day after the comedy show, my homeboy did slide on that I went to the comedy show with, and I asked him, I'm like, yo, like, what all happened at the show? You know what I'm saying? I hit that L, I'm thinking I'm straight, but like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? And he was just pretty much saying like, yeah, we was just chilling, and the show just went on, and that was pretty much all about it. Like, it was the same thing as soon as you left, type shit. So he didn't really tell me everything that popped off, how I was behaving or anything like that. So I was trying to figure out what like what more happened. I want to know more, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I could change something, maybe I could, you know what I'm saying? So from that point, it kind of made me look at a lot of people different. I'm more in home than I used to be before. Before I used to pop out a lot and everything, but I just more time stay at the crib. Everything that I pretty much take care of at the spot or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just do everything I need to do and that's it. You know what I'm saying? I think twice about certain things when it comes to stepping out in certain spaces and all that, and dealing with certain people and everything. I'm more to myself than anything, just because like of what I've experienced. And when that happened, it changed the way that I carried myself. It made me look at self-respect more differently. It made me be a lot more. It made me be a lot more in tune with decision making. You know what I'm saying? It pretty much positively helped me more to be on top of things that I stand for. Be more spoken to everything that you know that comes my way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. More vocal about things.
Okay. So I definitely see where you went through a traumatic situation.
Mm-hmm.
You identified the way it affected you. From there, you acquired a perspective on how you wanted to move going forward.
Yeah.
So when situations come your way now, would you say that just be in your own space, and like what do you do in your own space while you're reflecting?
I pretty much just sit back and recall the certain events that happened while I was out. Reflect on a lot of things, and I ultimately make a choice like, okay, I'm about to do this, that. I'm about to be more vocal about certain things. I'm about to have a specific posture, you know what I'm saying? And just be more relaxed. Because sometimes, like, I have like a knot in my chest, you know what I'm saying? With butterflies or whatever. And sometimes that knot won't be, you know what I'm saying? And what I take from that is like bad energy. I just need to just some chill.
Yeah.
Some shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like pretty much a two-way street, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was another instance. I was at the, the Summer Jam, you know? And when I was there, I was amongst, before I went to the VIP part, I was amongst some of my homeboys. We was kicking and chilling, you know what I'm saying? I was cool. When I get to the VIP part, I'm looking around certain people. It's like almost, I felt so much energy, you know what I'm saying? People doing certain things and everything. It's like you almost could feel the type of vibe that you amongst.
Definitely.
And
I definitely see what you're saying.
and-
I feel it too.
and it's like, man, like,
You can go in a room,
Mhm.
nobody don't have to say shit, and you know what's going on in that room.
Right.
You know what the fuck is in that room. If it's a heavy presence,
Mhm.
or it's some demons in that room.
it's something
It's
not
somebody
right.
that's on some type of bullshit that will get with you right now.
Mhm.
Get busy. So I definitely feel you on that.
So it's-
And just to weigh up the facts on what you were saying,
Mhm.
I feel like everyone that's listening, the key point that you can take away, what Eric was saying is seclusion. During the time where he was able to reflect and look at these chain of events that transpired, he was in a state of seclusion. So that's the key piece. You have to get in tune with self and be okay with being secluded.
Mhm.
If you're always amongst people, it's going to be loud. You're not going to be able to see what you need to see. You're not going to be able to figure out what you need to figure out. You need to get by yourself. Get content within your space. So that way you can decipher what's really going on.
Mhm.
Because the message going to always come to you, but it's going to be from an internal source. It's never external, it's internal.
Mhm.
So I think that's a great piece, what you said. So those are the facts there. So but we also look at the ego. What has been a time where you feel your ego was your backbone? Because we have to be honest.
Mhm.
It's okay to be quiet and listen.
Yeah.
But you also got to know when to stand your ground. So,
Yeah.
in the sense, when you're being assertive, you're kind of like showing who you are within your ego. You're being a little bit assertive when you're talking to someone. So, when has been a time where you felt your ego was your backbone?
Whenever. So I'm a rap artist, right?
Okay.
And everything that I pretty much put together, you know what I'm saying, I do 110% to be myself. I don't try to portray to be shoot 'em up, bang bang, or, you know what I'm saying, certain, like whatever type of other
Stay in your
entity.
lane.
I stay in my own lane and I just do everything that I need to do. Whenever there are like times where I need to like rap in front of people or even be on the stage or something, like, and I know everything down packed and all that. It's like, all right, now I'm gonna show people how I get busy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And once I just go do my thing, it's like I'm in the quiet. Everything, you amongst the crowd and everything, just become a quiet room. And I just go in, do my thing. You know what I'm saying? And when everything is finished, you know what I'm saying, even making contact with, like eye contact with the crowd and everything else, and seeing their face expressions whenever I spit my bars and everything, I know right then and there, like, yeah, they feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or like, they tapped in with it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's one example. Another hookup is when I'm cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I need a ball fade with a little part, sharp line up, touch my beard up and everything. All right, I got you. Get them together, everything I know, stay on top of everything, clean all my stuff before I even get busy too. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So once I start putting everything together and doing my thing, it's like, nah, I know. I've been cutting for 10 plus years, so everything that I've known from when I started all the way up until now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm a completely different person, but now I have the confidence to really do my thing when it comes to cutting hair also. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So really perfecting your craft is like the best thing, and it really boosts your ego.
Agreed.
To really jump into the next level of learning. You know what I'm saying? And even then, it's like you don't have a specific mask on when you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you really working, all the masks coming off, you really being yourself at that point.
Yeah.
And you really going at it wholeheartedly 110%. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like that's where it's good. Like you mentioned earlier, yin yang. You know, too much of anything is it can be drastic. It can turn into something else. When you got that healthy balance, that's when you're, you know, on that happy medium where you're supposed to be at.
Yeah.
You know, you're not over too much over. You know, you're not too far in any direction. You know, you're center line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel like that was an excellent example in regards to using your ego as your backbone. But I feel like that's very imperative. So if we go ahead and smoke to a conclusion, we can see that, you know, there are some negative pieces to your ego, but then how do you become that ego killer to get yourself to the other side of understanding the duality of it all? Because each situation has a perspective. Oh yeah, you can be pissed off, you know, feel some type of way about something, or, you know, you can look at it as, okay, what did I learn here? You know, how can we separate ourselves more in that ego to say, you know, what did I learn? You have to really go through an ego death to even get that humble. You know, you have to be humble to be able to experience, you know, information at that height. Otherwise, you're blocking yourself.
Right.
You're blocking certain points in yourself where you're able to receive that information, to download it, and then process and use it. So I feel like that's imperative to have that point of seclusion, you know, so that way you can actually have time to self-reflect. And, you know, during your self-reflection, you can do things that make you happy. You know, some sort of self-love. You know, an example of that might be, okay, you might like to listen to hemi-sync frequencies, you know, while you just sit and meditate, you know, kind of think about what's been going on. Or you might say, I'll take a walk or a jog, you know, something that's helping your body on a physical level, or a mental level, or a spiritual level. You know, as you're going and self-reflecting, then you're going to be able to download that information to be able to utilize it and then use it as like a power in a sense when you come to different situations. Because now you're aware. Your awareness is heightened. Once again, like I always say, you know, the whole concept of using your journal, I feel like that's very imperative because now you have a running record that you can also use as a reflection piece to go and add into that self-reflection. So I think that's another thing to, you know, kind of use when you're going through, you know, okay, am I in my ego, am I not? Write it out, right? Just speak your truth to your writing, you know? I mean, I hope that nobody gonna lie to themselves, you know, write it all out, you know? That's your safe space, you know? Let it all out. So once you get to that point, then it'll be easier to identify when you're in your ego because you're speaking your truth. And then from there, you're setting yourself free. Which on that note, follow us for the next episodes coming out. Follow us on Instagram, Smokers Daily Podcast. Also, Facebook page, Smokers Daily Podcast. Go ahead and follow that. And the YouTube channel, Smokers Daily Podcast. Stay tuned. We got more great stuff coming your way.